Welcome back, everybody, to another episode, of course, in our single-player world, and most importantly, welcome back to another episode in the big city. We haven't been around here in a very long time, and what can I say? I've missed it. I'm sure there's some of you guys missing it out there, and some of you guys who might not even know about it. So we're probably going to do a little bit of catching up, but that's all right. Today we're going to focus on life in the city, what it's like to live here, and not only that, kind of what it's like to live a bit outside the city. The inhabitants that live just further out from the city around here. And what we are doing is going to one of the areas that we haven't been to in a very long time. It's kind of just been an area that's been played around with on streams, and not an area that has been touched in a video just yet. In fact, this area is kind of today we're doing a bit of a weird thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of strange, a bit different for me. We haven't done it in terms of changing what I'm about to change. Prepare yourselves, because we're about to do some cool stuff. But what we are doing is we're going to be adding a poop rock. It sounds kind of weird, and it is, but I think it's going to look way cooler than what it sounds. Let's hope it looks way cooler than what it sounds. So what we are doing is we've got some birds around the game. Minecraft is renowned for blocks, but there are some mobs, passive mobs, all sorts of mobs, and in particular, there's some birds that we want to get onto a rock in the middle of the ocean, which currently is a small pond, which also doesn't have a rock on it. So we've got our work cut out for us. Basically, we're going to start off building a rock. And importantly, we are building a rock with a bit of material that is commonly referred to in the community as bird poop. And understandably, it is. And today, I feel like it needs a bit of love sometimes. Give the block a break. Not like that, but give the block a break. It really could do with a little bit of love, and today we certainly are not helping on with that, because it is for today's episode, the intents of it, it's bird poop. That's it. That's about all I can give this block is it's bird poop. Now, the reason I was saying the area that we've only really worked on in streams is all the way on this side of the city. We've only ever really been around there, working on the stuff all the way over there, going to the back where this palace is going to be. But today we're getting started around here, and as I say, this is an area probably fun you guys didn't even realize we had a thing like this. If you're only around with the YouTube videos, of course, that's natural, I guess, because we haven't been here. But what my plan is to at least go ahead and start off with a little bit of a rock, make a rocky outcrop, and then we're going to see the inhabitants from outside the city, because of course there's not just people. There's many other things that live around here. In fact, coming from Sydney, Australia, let me tell you this: these particular guys, being seagulls, are a real pain. They do exist, and they definitely are kind of like flying rodents in a way. They just everywhere. They eat everything. They're pests, and they do poop a lot. But the poop's not really too relevant. It was just kind of a thing I thought you'd like to know, of course. But it's not the most relevant of things. But what is relevant is the bird itself. Because I bet you guys didn't know about seagulls in this game. I didn't know about seagulls in this game till just a few minutes before I put them in here myself. So get ready, be prepared. We're about to see some really cool things. I hope, at least as cool as I can get them. So let's go ahead and think about this rock. Let's get away from the birds right now, because the birds aren't here. So looking at this rock, I've got a few things I have to think about. All right. How do we want this thing to be shaped? And I'm kind of going for like a little bit of a weird shape, because of course around here, the birds, they'll probably come around here, eat the trash, get in people's way, maybe poop on some things, and go around to their nests, or really the area they kind of sit away to be a bit more safe from people, really. And that would be this rock around here. And what I'm thinking would be cool is to have this rock to have a little bit of a neat look to it, because of course we're doing things all ourselves, we're doing things custom. So we may as well take it up with a little bit of a hook like that. And I want to just get that hook right, and then we can start filling it up and feeling it out as well, seeing what we want the shape to be. Something like that. Yeah, perfect. With a little bit of rock sticking out the side, a little bit of a curve to it. That's perfect. That's the start we really need to get into this. So how about we start by adding a little bit of the normal stuff to the rock. I mean, this does look a bit plain, just stone everywhere. I think what will help is just getting in our standard basic rough, rugged textures. You know, the rocks that would have rushed up from the ocean over here. This is a bay, by the way. This whole area is actually a big bay. But this over here is also a fairly large bay. And I think a few stones would have washed up at the bare minimum in this area. So eventually, by the way, with the questions, I do get this question a lot over on Twitch, so I assume it would only be on people's minds in all directions, which is, Jansey, will this world be continuing in 1.13? And as far as I'm aware, yes. As far as I can tell, this world's still got a lot of stuff to do. And not only that, there's also so many good things in 1.13 that I don't think we're going to have an issue, by the way, with not having the ocean and stuff like that. I've got a lot of plans for how we're going to deal with the fact that our oceans aren't really quite as pretty as what the oceans are going to be. But I think today's actually a pretty good episode to kind of think about that, weirdly. Today is definitely one that I think we're going to have a lot of things which I think should be cool to have in the update aquatic, let's say. Maybe some things that could lie off the ocean, you know, just a little bit outside of the ocean, which I'm sure you guys could maybe catch my drift. If not, I'm sure you will be very soon. So how about we just add a few more textures in here, and then we'll go ahead and get a little bit of the shape done as well. And in fact, we add our bird poop in now, so that we can work around the bird poop and we can see what's going on. So maybe I would imagine on the top it would have dribbled down quite a bit like that, something like that. It does. It's actually going to work so well. I can tell this already. It's definitely going to be one of the better ones. And maybe a little bit down the bottom here. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so once we've got this done, I think now we can step back. It's just a little bit of basic texturing. We're going to obviously go a bit more like this sort of stuff over here when we're done with it. So step around there, turn around. Yeah, perfect. All right, good start. So over here, look at this big chunky piece here. That's this area that's all lost here to this big L shape there. That's not going to cut it. So this is where we have to get into the smaller blocks and get things looking a little bit more interesting. So how about we start off? I think what would go well is a little bit of a stair over there, and then something around, oh, I guess, yeah, you know what? I was actually going to be putting in one of those, but let's just do that. Something like that, and just start doing a little bit of, in fact, this is where it's going to work. Like that. A little bit of stuff around the place. And by the way, I found with the diorite, to get it to sometimes work, it's good to do what I've done there. Hide it as much as possible. Because it is still, despite the fact of it's serving a great purpose today, it still is a bit invasive. So we have to think about that. In fact, from this angle, right there, we're going to be looking at it most likely from there. So we want this to cut off this as much as possible without getting rid of it completely. So something like that, or maybe even a stair there, could work quite well. So let's go check how that's looking for shape. Just piece by piece. This is actually how slow it goes, by the way. We just kind of step back, look at it there. Perfect. All right, that's actually very good. Now, I've got some guys I'd like to introduce you to. I've been very, very busy with stuff, trying to find pigeons, trying to find seagulls. The pigeons, we haven't found quite the pigeons that we want, but the seagulls, I think we have. Now, we all remember the Minecraft 1.12 color update. It brought a lot of great colors, a lot of interesting ones, and of course, a lot of great animals. The most notable is, of course, the pigeons and the seagulls. Those ones. They were some of the most notable ones. However, they only really spawn in jungles, and they're very difficult to find as well. One of the very weird setbacks. Now, I've been tracking these guys down. Introducing our seagull population is one that's going to be introduced. We're kind of doing something a bit weird in this city, going backwards. Starting off with the problem, you know what I mean? We start off with the overpopulation of seagulls, and here we have one right in front of us. What a coincidence that I started recording at this time. But these little guys, they're a very difficult thing to get, and you become friends with some seeds. Oh, that guy was pretty quick. Thank you. And they do look very weird, yes. But that is the best that these seagulls could do for themselves. And let me tell you, collecting seagulls and pigeons and just seagulls and pigeons, it's a very difficult thing. Very, very hard. But they're going to add a lot of life to this city, and I think it's a well worthwhile adventure to go find these guys. We've actually been traveling pretty far. They spawn very weirdly. Apparently, they can't spawn a lot. They fill up the mob cap pretty easily, I guess. So we want this to be as small as possible. So I had a hunch turning down my render distance would help me out to make sure we can get some extra things spawning around the place. I don't know if it actually works, but may as well give it a go. Good indication. You can see we've got some area here where the ground is open. In fact, I can see a parrot right over there. Right over there. Come here, buddy. You're not a friend of mine, are you? No, not yet. Not yet. Now become a friend. It's a pretty expensive friend. All right, so is the parrot, the seagull around, or did we leave it? Sometimes these guys can kind of get a bit far away from you and then despawn. Nope, it's there. Perfect. All right, so let's go down. I've actually spent a bit of time collecting these guys. In fact, let's just go render distance up to a good amount, 15. That'll work, and we'll get these guys on their spot now. Living in the jungle, because this is all jungle, we do come across these guys every now and then, but as I'm sure you are aware of, they don't come around very easily, so we have to take our time. I'm going to keep exploring, looking for these guys, but we have to take our time and find them over time, and as we do, we'll just keep adding more and more to the places, and you can see there's quite a few interesting guys here. We've still got our red parrots around, and just give it a second. Let these guys catch up. Let me catch up, and I feel kind of bad eating chicken in front of them, but that's all right. Get off my shoulders. That's all right. Yeah. Oh, actually, creeper check. Creeper inspection proved to be successful. All right, so let's just drop these guys. And tell me what you think about these pigeons, by the way. I need to do some work on them. The shape of them, sadly, they're kind of stuck like that. It's not their fault, but it would be quite great if we could get rid of that weird shape of them, but that's all right. So this guy, you and you are coming with me. We got some stuff to do. In fact, we got some sleeping to do. So let's go get some sleeping done so we can go get these guys sitting on their own homes. The grand residence of Sir Pickles. Great. A very fine establishment to be staying at. So once we've got this done, we can drop these guys on the rock. And I know there might be someone who's wondering why we don't use wild ones just for the sake of them being wild, and I think the tamed ones are the best option, because of course I know the other alternative is, of course, that the tamed ones, when you get hit by a skeleton or a creeper or something attacks you. Actually, what are you doing here? You're not meant to be here. You can sit over here with where the other birds are eventually going to sit. So let's take these guys over here. And I think they actually may very well just teleport over to this rock as soon as I step on it, right? Yeah. That's actually pretty cool. Now, the only struggle with this is I wanted them over there. Okay, this guy's over here. You stop there. Perfect. Okay, and they're actually following me. Wonderful. So let's just do something like this. You're really not helping me, buddy. I think I can attach a lead to them. Actually, yeah, I want that guy over there. So, land. Yes, perfect. All right. So if I jump like this. Why did I do that? All right, we'll give us another go. So you can sit there as well. I've just bumped another guy off, I think. Man, this is actually a lot more difficult than what you might expect. Specifically if you're me. I think I know what happened. Got on my shoulders. That's it. So I'll wait for this guy. You can see he's trying to come back up. We'll give it a bit of time. I want to also do a little bit of exploring of this jungle. We have explored the jungle actually in its entirety. I'm fairly certain. I think we found a few temples. They struggling. Come on, you can make it. These guys can make it. They're just kind of giving up. Too close to the top. I guess I'll wait up here for a bit. But the real thing is, these guys don't spawn in very high numbers. And not only that, they also... Oh, here we go. Here we go. Good. Cooperating. I like to see that. Oh. And the cooperation ends like that. That's all right. I guess I'm just going to be sitting here for a while anyway. I'll actually make a good little platform for it. But the thing is, they're just so rare to come across that eventually you got to just take what you can get. But it's fine. We'll get there eventually. I think that's a good little bit of stuff there. Here we go. Here it is. Here it is. You actually just sit there and I'll push you over. Perfect. I actually want, if this other guy comes up, I will be very happy, but that's all right. So yeah, these are seagulls, if anyone's asking. They do have an exposed, well, not exposed, over the top sized head. Yeah, oh, what? What? Why did this guy do this? That's your own fault. This is a circus up here. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's go out and find some of these guys, some friends. And you've returned. Fantastic. Some breakthroughs have been made, and it turns out we've got ourselves another one of those, the birds. that are now a seagull. Turns out that worked out very, very good because apparently the particular seagull variety that I was looking for wasn't very easy to come across. So I decided there's now 2 and they're slightly different. Very, very slightly. Can you pick the difference? Look, there's the 2 differences on that one. The 2 differences on that one. Very slight. I actually want to add a little bit more into that. So while we're at it, I thought we may as well add a few more things to this island. And also, of course, by the way, as per the usual, I always love like the great inspiration we get from people in the community, of course, ideas and all that sort of stuff. So if you have any cool ideas for this, because of course, I've just been busy with this on the day, and there's always something that I don't see and something that someone else could see, and I mean, you know what I mean. So if you guys see anything that you would like to add into the seagulls or the pigeons really need a lot of work. So if you guys do have any of those things, you know where to leave them. I would appreciate them, and of course it would definitely help out a lot of the stuff in here as well. So let's just go on top of this, I guess. There we go. And now, if you are wondering how to get the seagulls, where do you find these seagulls in Minecraft? They're pretty difficult. They're pretty interesting things to find, and it requires a little bit of Minecraft skill, and you can very easily get one. But you know what? I think we'll go ahead and leave that up for discovery, because of course a true magician never reveals their secrets. We're at the top here. We've just got to jump up and have a look at the city, because of course we are going to be in here for some more episodes coming up very, very soon, of course. And what we want to do is we want to just keep moving on through this place. If you guys are new, of course, we've got a whole bunch of videos explaining what this place has got going on. But currently, I'm just doing things around the place, filling these bits up. You can see there's a lot of empty stuff, and I've got some fake houses at the back there. Long story, but they don't really exist, but they do. They fake houses. And we're going to be working on that area over there, getting closer and closer to getting in the very, very cool build, hopefully, of the palace. And that's the big goal of what we're doing right now. So between doing small things around the place, just finishing off these little things, kind of important, but the most important part right now is just getting the guys at hard at work to be building in this area, and I'll show you exactly what's going on. So we've got pieces that are, yeah, they're still under construction. You can't expect all this stuff to be built overnight, but of course what we are doing is we are coming closer and closer, and this is just how close we are. Look at this. These are some of the fake houses. They got a lot of work to do, but up till here, right over here, this is where the palace entrance, the palace gates, of course, not the actual palace itself, but the gates to the palace are going to be right here. I've even made myself a nice fancy sign just to mark that and kind of get ourselves to a point now where we can actually see it. We are that close to having this palace in here, or at least starting on it. And I think the most important part in this next little area that we're going to be building in is to get this piece filled up so that it doesn't have an empty gap. And then, of course, get the palace itself going up and looking good, of course. And that's pretty cool as well, the fact that we've got the clouds right behind us right there. But for today, guys, what I think we'll do is we'll go ahead and end the episode there. It's been great just adding in something different. Of course, if you guys do want to get your hands on it, that's in the description. I don't know if anyone's interested in getting their seagulls in their world. Of course, that will be there. And also, of course, your ideas are very much appreciated with the seagulls, with the pigeons, with everything else. And of course, what to add over here, because I am completely lost for ideas. I can come up with houses, but I think there could be some cooler things to add in these blocks that are eventually coming here. So thank you everyone for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one.